Here's one of the things that always gets me, right? The average speed along here is probably, I don't know, 35, 40 miles an hour, peaking at maybe 70 in some, when it's really quiet. Some guys really feeling zippy. At those speeds, this sign is virtually unreadable, except for John F. Birch Nature Preserve, that you might be able to read that. But most of this thing, like North Texas Tollway Authority, that logo, and the Valewood Improvement Authority, that little segment of the sign is in no way, in shape or form, readable whatsoever, except by foot. What's this say? Park closed. Okay, so that's what that means. There's no pedestrian thoroughfare through here. That's a dike to control flooding. God, they must have some intense flooding out here. Okay, so we're going to go this way and take a look. This road, I do believe, should be passable to get me right up to a road that will head straight over to the general area of Google Corporate in just north of Dallas. And it's the Dallas office. We got somebody heading right at us. It's always fun. Sometimes they, anyway. So we got a whole bunch of those brand new brick homes over there. That must have been what that guy was talking about. Oh, they aren't brick walls? Well, brick construction is a sophisticated science with a lot of pluses and minuses. Bricks are not super good in earthquakes, which you don't really have to worry about out here. They can take quite an impact. They don't take ground deformation worth of crap unless the foundation is super solid, like a pre-stressed concrete slab, that kind of thing. Subsidence due to improper compaction of the soils, or liquefaction from earthquake activity, which again you don't really have to worry about out here that much, except there is potential in the future due to exploitation of carbon-rich natural reserves under the ground. And the airport's not far away, so of course you got a dramatic number of fairly close air flight above your head. Which is a big part of why some of these areas just weren't developed until people came in from Islamic countries, places like Bangladesh and Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and UAE, Iraq, and Iran. Which has some really interesting political interactions. People getting used to each other's cultures and stuff. And these cats are real motivated, and they're really heavy in the tech sector, which is currently really profitable for them. But one of the things that you see in historical studies is nouveau riche don't always thrive over the long term. There's sometimes a whole lot of people get wealthy all of a sudden due to mutual association and things like that. And then later, you see some of them maintain their family power and others sink away or get absorbed into other social systems and cultures and things. But this is definitely very large homes, very closely packed. which, you know, considering Muslims and their large families and Christians and their large families, says a lot. But places like this can become future slums pretty quickly. I saw that in San Bernardino. These same kind of homes, you see them in San Bernardino. Not quite the same architecture, but big, multi-room, single-family homes that are converted into apartments and very poorly maintained, rented out on the cheap and dirty, just filled with cockroaches and rats and problems and screaming neighbors and all kinds of crazy stuff. Not necessarily saying that, predicting that will, but it can. And it's one of the things why I don't really think I would want a setup like that. I would want some acreage around me that I'm using. I do, however, want a large family of my own. When I studied Islam, I was taught that my past ill deeds were forgiven, and that even Muhammad Rasulullah ﷺ asked for forgiveness for things that he'd never done wrong. Just asked for forgiveness without it being attached to anything. Alhamdulillah. A place like this may seem like heaven, but to me, it doesn't seem that way. I see something else in my future, and I'm trying to build it, and I got a whole lot of things in my way, and I got to figure out one thing at a time how to deal with it. Now, that wasn't half as bad as I thought it would be. I thought I'd have to cross that overpass, and I did have to walk through an area that was not built for pedestrians, but that was reasonably passable on the side of the road. It's not what I would wish for the young kids and the families and the seniors that live around here. I would want them to have something a little more stable. Now, this is an interesting piece of architecture. Their backyard is fairly minimal, kind of like what you see in parts of Britain, where you have a long, narrow house, skinny little backyard, but they've got a back porch on the 3rd floor. And even up above that, they've got some kind of little porch. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe it's an air conditioner with a little wall around it to make it look nice. But that's like a little castle. I'm going to be a real snoop and peek over the back side. And the fence is pretty tall. And yes, there is, you can see there's a ladder into the attic in that one house. I don't know whether it's occupied or not. They may still be working on it. But the wall is easily just over 6 feet tall and significantly challenging to peek over the top, which I take to be a security feature. But they can definitely look out over the area from that 3rd floor pretty well, and I wonder how many of those houses are built like that. It looks like quite a few are, and they're multiplexes. Okay, it's coming on evening. Everything's getting pretty dark, especially for this camera. That's only 9 minutes, 10 minutes. So I'm going to sign this off, and we'll come up with some other things to talk about a little later.